Hello, everyone, and welcome to Salud SA, San Antonio's premier wellness television show. I'm your host, Anastasia. Each month, I'll seek out San Antonio's best-kept health and wellness secrets and feature homegrown alternative healing pioneers from our community. And today, I'm thrilled to be interviewing Julie and Marcos from Concha Style and discussing their journey into starting San Antonio's first healthy sourdough concha business. And most importantly, learning how they intertwine their spirit into each delicious concha. I don't know about y'all, but my mouth is already watering just talking about it. So let's dig in. Hi, welcome Marcos and Julie. I'm so excited to have you here to talk about your delicious conchas today. So let's get started by discussing how you got interested in a healthy lifestyle and baking and all of that good stuff.
Hi, Anastasia. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
Happy to be here. It's a good question. So I grew up in Denver, Colorado, and my family always made a big impact on me growing up to live a healthy lifestyle. My mom especially, she took us to natural grocers and Whole Foods, and it was always a wonderful experience going there. And growing up into an adult, it's something I like to go and visit these stores a lot. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And what about you, Julie?
For me, I've always loved baking. Like, it's my first memory of always baking and doing stuff like that. So that's always been like a really big part of my life. But then, like, I guess with more of a healthy lifestyle, it started in my senior year of high school. I joined a yoga class. So ever since then, I've been doing that and been like more interested and always learning more about it.
Great. And so you grew up here in San Antonio,
Yes.
right? So where did y'all meet?
We met as freshmen in Colorado.
All right. Okay.
in downtown Denver in a campus
in the
living.
cafeteria. Yeah, in the cafeteria, always
Yes.
around food.
Yeah. So what
Yes.
school were you going to?
CU Denver?
Yeah, University of Colorado at Denver.
Nice. So that's pretty adventurous for a San Antonio girl to
Yeah.
move all the way to Denver. That's
Mhm.
awesome. So then when you met Marcos, were you, besides doing a little bit of yoga, were you living like a healthy lifestyle or did he kind of introduce
He really
you?
introduced me to it, and like as like being with him and like going to meals and everything, I just started like picking up like more of his habits of like things he would eat or just he would work out like a lot, so I'd go more. It's like I've never worked out like this before. But yeah, I've definitely picked up a lot of habits from him, and just being in Denver, it is a lot more outdoorsy and stuff like that. So picked up a lot of good habits there.
Yeah, I bet. Well, so you mentioned that you grew up baking. Who were you baking with and what were you making? Like what kinds of things were baked around your house?
Well, at the beginning, like my first memory is like making pancakes with my dad. So like things like that.
Mhm.
And then I was just always really interested in it. And like my grandma, who I'm named after, she she bakes a lot and cooks a lot. So it's been really nice to be around her.
Nice. Excellent. Well, that's great. So another question that I'm curious about is if either of you had any health issues or, I don't know, ailments that kind of led you into the healthy living or accentuated that healthy lifestyle.
Yes, for me in college in my later years, I found out I had a lot of food sensitivities, so to gluten, eggs, dairy, and nuts. And so I like cut everything out of my diet.
My goodness. Yes.
And that like after I did that, that was like the first time I started looking at like nutrition labels and seeing like what I'm eating, or even at restaurants, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know this had gluten in it, or like, so just a lot of that, and like just really finally taking the chance to notice everything I'm putting in my body and making sure it didn't contain like anything, because like so many things contain eggs that you don't really know about, or when things are processed and they have nuts in them in the same facility and stuff like that. So just really paying attention to that. And that like was a total revamp of like my entire diet.
Oh, I bet. I'm sure it was. Okay. So then let's fast forward a little bit. So y'all were in Denver and then you moved back to San Antonio. Then when did y'all move to San Antonio?
I actually moved back the first year. I really missed my family, like being around them, because growing up, like every single week I would go see my stepdad's side of the family Wednesdays, my mom's side of the family like every single Sunday. And so being over there, I was like, I miss my family.
Oh, I'm sure. That's got to be hard. You know, you're young, you move to another state, you're like away from your family. Sure. So you moved back after college then.
Yeah.
And Marcos, when did you come?
So that's when I started missing her a lot. And so it only took about 6 or 8 months, I think. And then I eventually came to San Antonio as well. So,
all right.
and luckily I had family here that welcomed me into their home, and I was able to live with them until I could get my feet up and running. And then we eventually moved in together with each other in San Antonio.
Yes,
that's
just got married.
great. Yes, I heard that. Congratulations, newlyweds. You got married in November, right?
Yes, November 3rd on our 7-year anniversary.
Oh, that is so sweet. I couldn't be happier for you.
Thank you.
All right. So then, so you moved to San Antonio. So when and how did you make the leap and decide to pursue baking as your job?
Yeah, well, for me, I'd always done, like, I'd done several little, like, trying to sell different things. Like, I'd sell, like, strawberries, sips and chocolate during Valentine's Day and stuff like that. But when I found the conchas, they were actually as, like, a gift to my best friend. And I was like, oh my God, these are so amazing. Like, I don't think anyone's doing that. Like, let's try and sell this. And then, so we got, like, really into it. But at the time, we had both full-time jobs. So we were, like, kind of stressed out. We weren't sleeping too much. So at this past May, I decided I was like, this is a great idea. Like, I really think it's where I'm being called. So I quit my full-time job, and now I'm doing this.
Wow. So you quit your full-time job in May?
Yes.
Ah, that's pretty recent.
Yeah, it's very recent, but I'm very happy doing all of this. It brings me so much joy, and like when other people eat it and they're so happy, I'm like, yay, that's exactly what I want.
Yes. Oh, yes, you've got to follow your heart, definitely. And you know the way to the heart is through the stomach, right?
Yes. I've learned.
Yes,
that's how she won my heart.
That's awesome. All right. Okay, so then let's talk a little bit about conchas, first of all. So for people who aren't from around these parts, what's a concha, just basically? And then we'll talk about what makes your conchas different than a traditional concha.
Yeah, so a concha, it's normally like, it's similar to like a brioche, a little dry, and it has like a sweet topping, and you normally dip it into like a coffee or hot chocolate to like moisten it up.
Yes, and if you're from any part of South Texas, then you've probably had conchas, right? It's pan dulce, sweetbread. So what makes your conchas different than a concha that I would get at a typical panaderia here?
Well, first off, like all our ingredients are all organic, and then we also make some of the ingredients like in-house. Like we make our own vanilla extract, our own oat milk, and our own vegan butter to keep everything dairy free.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. So how do you make that vanilla extract?
It's vanilla beans that I like cut in half, and then I pour vodka over it.
Yeah, because it's alcohol.
Yeah, it's alcohol, and then I just let it sit there for like 6 months, and I shake it every now and then I have like a beautiful jar of vanilla. I should have brought one.
Oh my gosh,
I have like
love
5
it.
stored, so I can always keep having more.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing, and what a great idea, because I make kombucha, so I can totally, sympathize with the, having an active like baby, or that you're feeding. And I mean, I know it's a little bit different with the alcohol. It's almost like making a tincture. But that's really cool. I might have to get some beans.
Yes. And how you said like the baby, like our rye starter, I started it when the pandemic first hit. I made my first rye starter, and so I've had it since then, and it's so funny, like you really go and check on it, you're like, you okay? Like, you need more food?
Exactly. I'm that way too. I'm like, I have some kombucha, I need to feed my mother, and go and give her some something to drink,
Yeah,
something to eat,
yeah.
actually.
Mhm.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so you said you make your own vanilla extract, you make your own oat milk and vegan butter. Okay, so
Mhm.
what's in the vegan butter? Because that's something I've never made before, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing at some ingredients. But can you
Mhm.
tell me about that?
Yes, it's coconut oil, canola oil, soy milk, salt, and a soy lecithin. And then I use my immersion blender and I blend it and it like emulsifies and then it creates a butter.
Very cool. My
Uh-huh.
goodness, I've never made any type of butter
Yeah.
before, but I have made mayonnaise and stuff, but that's not dairy free. Okay, and the oat milk. So how does that work?
For that one, we have it's called an almond cow, and you put the oats in there and you tie it up or put it on, and you just press the button and it like makes the milk for you. And then it strains it for you because you put it in a basket. So it's so
Nice.
wonderful.
Oh, yes, that takes out a lot of the hard work.
Yeah, we
Yes,
first
yeah.
started doing it with the nut bag, and that was really
It took
messy.
so long.
I bet. Yes, because that's what
Yeah.
I've read on how to do it, use the bag and all
Yes, it's a good investment. In
that.
almond
Yeah.
cow.
Almond cow.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's a funny name.
That's great. Okay, well, if you're just tuning in, I'm with Marcos and Julie from Concha Style, and we're discussing basically the first healthy sourdough concha business here in San Antonio. And so let's start looking at this delicious spread you brought here. Tell me about what you have here. I know this one looks very like our typical conchas,
Yes.
and I've had the pleasure of eating these before, and they are so good, and I can't wait to eat some more. But please tell me, what do you have here?
Yeah, so here we have our vanilla bean concha and our chocolate ones. These are our everyday, all around the year type of offerings. And we have some like seasonal offerings, like this one is our strawberry topping that will only be offered through the springtime.
Got it.
And then over here we have some more new things.
My stomach is literally growling, you guys. If you could hear it.
We have a chocolate. Yeah, we have a chocolate base concha, so the actual dough is chocolate, and then we have our regular toppings, so our strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate.
Great. And these are all sourdough based, right?
Yes, they're all of this is sourdough based.
Excellent. And so sourdough, just for me and people who may not know, how is sourdough different from a typical bread?
Well, it's made from a starter, and so that means it is like from the natural yeast, like in your environment, and you have to put a lot more of it, and that means like a longer fermentation time. But because of that longer fermentation time, it's a lot more easier to digest. It unlocks a lot more nutrients, and there's because it's like that, there are no preservatives in it, so it really lasts a long time out as well.
Oh, that's great. Well, I always knew that it was easier to digest, and that's why I preferred it. And I also prefer the taste of sourdough bread over
Yes.
traditional bread. But anyway, yes, these look gorgeous.
And the longer fermentation times, they bring out a lot more flavor in it too.
Nice. Like, how long does it ferment? I'm just curious.
The conchas, they ferment. The first day I make it, they're out like all day while I'm like stretching and folding, so that builds the gluten. And then the second day, they're in the fridge. And then the third day, I shape them, put the topping on, proof them for like 5 hours, and then they're in the oven. So
What does it mean to proof them?
So that one, we put it at like a higher temperature, and then it just lets it expand more.
Yeah.
Nice. So there's such science to it. And I know y'all are both scientists, so it's like, that's why I don't bake, because it's so precise. I cook.
It's
I'm
forgiving,
a great
but
cook.
yes, within certain
Yeah, it's about a 3-day process for the
for the
conchas to ferment.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So what else do you have here?
So here we have our sourdough boule. So this is like the most common thing you'll see. And then this one is a sandwich bread loaf that is also dairy-free. And then this one is my personal favorite. It is a chocolate sourdough boule. It's sweetened, and it has chocolate chips, cranberries, and walnuts in it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That sounds so good. So you said boule. What is that? I don't speak bread.
I know. It's the shape of the container you put it in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like those little bowls you see with the rings on them.
Uh-huh.
That's the bowl.
Nice. And
so
that's
it just
what
takes
makes it look
it takes
like
the
that.
shape of it. Yeah.
Oh, very
Like a circle.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
circle. Or this one was a rectangle one. So
Uh-huh.
yes.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna.
Yes,
have
please
some.
have some.
Yes, I'll try this chocolate one. I brought coffee too for myself, but thank you. I was just gonna say it. But I've had the conchas before too, and I'm definitely gonna have them. But I'm really curious about this. And yeah. Oh my goodness.
You like that one?
Wow. Fresh baked this morning.
Yes, fresh baked this morning.
I'm in heaven, y'all. It is so good. It's so moist. It's like not like a cake or a brownie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this nice, smooth texture. It's not hard. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love it.
Thank you.
And all I'm missing is a little butter for this one, but
Exactly.
I'm feeling
Yes,
it
just a little
probably
butter.
won't even
It's really
need
good
butter.
warmed up.
Yes, toasted, little butter.
And everything's really
Perfect.
subtly sweet. That's another difference between other baked goods.
Yeah.
Ours are just subtly sweet. It's not overly sweet at all.
Yeah, that is very true. I actually feel good giving my husband the conchas because he will eat all of them. We ordered some for Father's Day, and it was just a 6-pack, you know. I think I got one. You know? he ate the rest of them. He has such a sweet tooth, but I did feel better about him eating 6 conchas.
Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. Well, while we're enjoying these conchas, if you want to just take a minute and we've talked a little bit about this when Julie, when you were mentioning that when you were baking, you felt so good that people were happy with what they had. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the mind, body, and spirit connections to these conchas.
Yeah. So I guess first off, like, where I get like my baking kind of like mentality is from the book like Water for Chocolate, where she, like, the whole book is like a story about how she really puts all of her emotions into her food, and when people eat them later, they feel however she felt when she was preparing it. And so like her intentions went into the food, so I make sure I always have like really good intentions. I'm very happy when I prepare them. And then so it makes me so happy when people eat them and they feel like I can see them feel how I felt when I like made it. I'm like, oh, good.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that because being a cook myself, like when I cook for people, for my friends, when I'm making it, I'm in flow because I love to cook. So I'm just, having a good time. But I set the intention that it's going to nourish them and it's going to, they're going to love it. They're going to love what they eat. And most of the time it does. And most of the time it works out. I wouldn't give them something that I didn't try first, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so I can definitely see that. And y'all told me a really cute story about y'all making some conchas for some of Marcos's coworkers.
Yes.
So if you would share that'd be great.
Yes, I actually had the benefit of seeing it firsthand. I took them all to work. We offered it to them. It was the first time I think we ever offered it outside of our family, really. And I brought it to work one day early in the morning, and it's a little chilly morning. It was last winter now. It's been about a year. And they all started eating them. And everyone just was in a really good mood and laughing. And out of nowhere, it's like as soon as they started eating these, and they started asking me, what did you put in these conchas? And all I could think of is how, Julie put a good intention into it. So.
That's so awesome. Yeah. I mean, it really does shine through in the food. And I know, in my experience, when you eat something really delicious, it does make you happy.
Yeah, it makes you happy.
It feels really good. And so, of course, and then the other thing is that, like I mentioned before, you don't have to feel guilty about eating these things, that they're actually nutritious. And there was a lot of love and skill that went into making them. And so that kind of reminds me, I'm going to kind of backtrack a little bit. But so how do y'all work together? Like, do you do certain things and then Marcos does certain things? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I do like most of the baking and like create the recipes and sometimes I do the pictures, but a lot of that's Marcos as well. And yeah, I mainly the baker.
And if she does need any help last minute with baking, I'm able to jump in there and help her out. But she does the vast majority now that she's doing it full time. But when we were together, we were both doing it from start to finish. And I'm mostly the one either marketing or sending messages or starting conversations about it.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. That works very well. Works very well. Let's see. So then how can people find you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so on our Instagram, we're on Instagram at concha.style. We're on Facebook as well, and our website is www.conchastyle.com.
With your new offerings, these will appear on your website then, and people can choose from them as well.
Yes, because we have free delivery.
That's right.
Yes, in San Antonio within 1604.
Great. That is a real bonus there too. It's like you don't have to go anywhere. You can just order and it will be delivered to you.
Yes.
What is the time frame though? Because I know, is it usually like a week out? Like people can't just order something the day before. Like you need to.
Yes, because since the fermentation time is so long, we normally do deliveries on Saturdays.
Okay.
And then we cut off orders Wednesday night.
Great. Okay, so that's good to know. Wednesday night. Mark your calendars. And I'm assuming that on your website too, you will share what markets you'll be at and all of that stuff
exactly.
too.
Yes.
You said that's something coming in the future, right?
Yes.
That you'll be
we'll
working
be at
somewhere.
the Heber Oaks Market on Saturdays, and then so he'll probably do deliveries, and I'll be at the market.
Oh, nice! Great, great. Well, thank you both so much for being here. I'm so excited about these new offerings, and I'm so excited to finish the rest of my bread too. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for having us. I'm happy you enjoyed everything.
Yes,
Thank you for having us.
did.
It was awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome.